All right?
I appreciate
Ms.
your
Cox
time.
has it.
I wanted to clarify, Mr. Perry, because you and I have had discussions about this before and publicly at that while I have mentioned previously that I have worked with hexavalent chromium, I have also worked with the EPA and the DEP on remediation of highly reagent existing C6 in a C6 pond. However, I also intimated at that time that our staff had been working diligently with the DEP and EPA to make sure compliance is being met. I'm not sure that this should surprise you, but maybe it will surprise you that the EPA and DEP are quite vigilant when it comes to, the extraction and removal and what is considered safe for human exposure when it comes to hexavalent chromium. And they are very well aware of its half-life and reagency and continued reagency when that is applicable. I would be astounded to learn that the EPA and DEP have cleared all of these steps for our staff, and we know that they have. I would be astounded to learn that they did that. If there were continued reagency of these chemicals on the ship. There have been tests and what have you, and I implore you to consider that the EPA and DEP have done their job in making sure that the reagency and half-life of those chemicals is no longer going to affect.
If I may say one thing, I spoke to Mr. Todd Bennett with the EPA Region 4 in Atlanta yesterday because I was in Atlanta. I couldn't meet with him directly, but I had a 10-minute conversation, and I can show you the timestamp and date on my phone. And he indicated that he welcomes any information we have because they had not have addressed it. They've only been addressing PCBs, and that's coming from Mr. Todd Bennett with the EPA Region 4 in Atlanta. And that conversation took place just yesterday between him and
Ms.
myself.
Adams, if you would please forward to Mr. Perry a copy of those reports, I would appreciate that.
I just want you guys to be reactive back and ask the question, like I've seen here in this conversation with numerous things, or in December about the busing thing or the cost of that went on for nearly 20 minutes. You need to ask these questions. You can't just take everything for what it appears to be, because I've been saying quite along, and I know you guys think I'm harping on your coastal research manager and your department. I'm not. I'm pointing out stuff that I have 40 years experience. And the coastal research manager even said this, and what happened in November of last year was beyond the scope of what we had experienced. That's why you had to hire a naval architect. What makes you think you shouldn't have hired a naval architect to tow a 1,000-foot ship 1,600 miles when all you've done is towed a few boats around, which is completely different? That's like you having a license to drive a car and you think you're qualified to drive an 18-wheeler. It's completely different, and I'm afraid you guys haven't asked those questions. But that 70-page report, I would like to submit it to you. You guys had it since August with the clerk courts, but I'd like to give a full, complete copy that I printed myself for you.
All right,
your review.
we'll have to give it to the clerk first, and then they can be distributed. Thank you.
And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I've told you to take a look at my LinkedIn site. You'll see my entire career, everything else. But there has been no feedback from anyone to me to ask a question.
Thank you. Mr. Maddox, were you wanting to address the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of brief moments. Mr. Perry, a bunch of what you said is just factually untrue. I've had you in my office personally. Okay, you're nodding yes to speak to you about some of these issues. So when you say that we have not had any discussion or there's been no feedback from the board, I have been a conduit for feedback from the board to you, not only on your own conduct and behavior, but on some of the issues revealing to trivalent chromium. Okay, so when you get up and say things like that for the people that are watching at home and the other folks that may have concerns, I need you to be a little bit more accurate on what this county has actually done to get information back to you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you. All right.